Right, guys. I'd just like to do like a comparison video about ticking boxes and in a comparison way, and that means tick one, which is better here and which is better here, and this is Bulgaria versus the UK, right? Um, so when you wake up in the morning, what are you worried about? And going throughout the day, what's things that you do, um, blow by blow, and things like that. Now, so the first consideration will be the weather. That's what I think about first thing in the morning most days. Now it's a bit hot here at the moment, which I don't really like. Okay, but like overall, I would say Bulgaria ticks the box, and the UK gets the cross. So it's a tick and a cross. Because in Britain, when I was there, it was miserable most of the year, and here, although it does get cold and it does get hot, you don't have the miserableness. You know, for sun seekers, I mean, this would be heaven. At the moment. But I like the cooler weather, and we don't get a lot of wind here. And I never liked the wind in the UK. I found that quite prohibitive a lot of the time. The wind, and we hardly get any wind here. Time to time we do. Okay, that's number one. So number two, you're looking at like going somewhere, travelling somewhere, and hands down, Bulgaria wins with traffic. Hands down, traffic. Tick for Bulgaria, cross for Britain. Because wherever I've been in the last decade or so in the UK, it's always been a problem, traffic. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is, you're going to probably get on the internet in some way or form or shape during the day, right? Bulgaria wins hands down. Fast internet, cheap, and in Britain I've found the Wi-Fi stuff was hopeless. It's where I lived anyway. In Liverpool, you could, and even a dongle there. There's places there where you can't even get a signal in a city, and that doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen. Okay, so that's that one. So then, what you're gonna do? You're gonna want to eat. So the food choices now. This one will be a draw because you get more choice in the UK, and it's round about the same costs for food from supermarkets. Okay, so there's more choice in the UK, but there's more, probably more organic stuff in Bulgaria if you're looking for that kind of thing. And the water, Bulgaria would win hands down, because we've got water here where I am coming out of the ground everywhere. Fresh spring water everywhere. Free, right? So that would be a draw because, Britain wins on like things like, or did. I don't know what it's like now. I haven't been there for 5 years. But Britain was winning there on meat, especially, lamb, oxtail, steaks, ribeye steaks, things like that, especially red meat, and the sea fish was probably better. over there. It tends to have a lot of water in it here. Don't know what they do in the freezing process, but it tends to just be just watery, and you can never get rid of the water. And when you do, it's kind of dries up. I don't know what they do with it. Anyway, so the seafood in the UK is tick in the box. But the freshwater fish and produce here is much better, which that's what I eat mainly. If I'm going to eat fish, it's freshwater, mainly trout or catfish, which is called som here. Now, eating a catfish, if you look at a catfish, it's like, it's a bit like a lot of things are from the sea. When you look at them, you think, oh, they wouldn't want to eat that. But like octopus, a lot of people like that with octopus, and I love it, and squid. And to look at them, you wouldn't want to really eat them, the visual part of it. Anyway, so the food, it's a draw. I'd say it was a draw because you can get good stuff for you, and you can get really good stuff as well in the UK. Okay, so then there's that cost of housing and living or buying a house or renting a house. Bulgaria, tick. The UK is a cross. It's unaffordable. It's becoming unaffordable. If you're trying to get on the ladder, what they call it, you're struggling now. If not impossible, So that's another tick. So Bulgaria is getting a lot of ticks, right? Now, I would say the politics and the political correctness in particular, I would say Bulgaria hands down wins. It's hands off politics at the moment. We haven't had a government for 5 years, a proper one, for any length of time. They have formed a few coalitions, but they collapse as soon as they're formed. It seems to they collapse shortly afterwards. So it's really hands off government, and nobody cares, and the country's doing better than before. Than in my opinion, anyway. So there's the affordability of housing and the council tax and all the rest of it. It's housing is far cheaper here than the UK. So there's another tick and a cross for the UK. So up to now we've had one draw and every other one has been ticked. So what's better in the UK than it is here? Probably the rail system, although it's very expensive in the UK. Very expensive to travel by rail now. The road infrastructure, it doesn't matter because it's full of traffic. So that's it cost of motoring. You could do that. It's a big tick here, and it's a cross in the UK. It's much cheaper here. The road tax. I think the road tax is maybe about the same, but the insurance. Well, you could have like a tick box just for insurance. Okay, now earning capacity, you're going to earn a lot more on paper in the UK. Now, do you get the quality of life compared with a difference in wages or, on paper? If you're quite a high earner in the UK, it's comparable with the quality of life because you can afford the good food, you can afford the housing and stuff. So if you're a high earner, now if you're at the bottom end of the scale, it's much I would say it would be much better to be in Bulgaria. You're better off struggling in an affordable country than struggling in an expensive country. If you get the logic. But if you're well off, it wouldn't really matter. But you could probably get more choice in the UK, and probably, I don't know, a bit more luxury, but you'll still be sitting in traffic, unless you have the helicopter. So that's another box ticked for Bulgaria. Now, shall we say the beauty of the countries? Now here we've got everything. We've got skiing. You got a little bit of skiing in Scotland, in the UK, but nothing to write home about, and it's very limited. So you've got the skiing here. In the summer, you've got the Mediterranean sort of climate, and you've got the unlimited swimming opportunities in beautiful rivers and lakes, and the sea here. You've got the Riviera and all the rest of it. And which you can't really. It's quite rare to get into the sea in the UK. To get the right weather conditions at the right time, it's got to coincide with your probably pre-booked holidays and stuff like that. Accommodation, I would say, hotels and that, much better here, much more affordable. And if you want to go high end here, wow, I mean, this has got luxury stuff now. It didn't when I first came here 20 years ago. They didn't have much in the way of that, but now, incredible. And you can go to like high end spa resorts where you got all the treatments and anything you want. All the spa treatments. You can go on wine holidays, and they have these beautiful. Well, some of them combine actually the spa and the winery, and you've got everything all in the one place. I know a few of them. So I mean, even the inland holidays are fantastic. So you got the skiing. I mentioned that. So leisure wise, there. Bulgaria wins hands down. Hands down. But the hospitality, let's say the sports, and a lot more available in the UK. They've got the top football league. If you can afford to go and watch that, the horse racing. I used to love going to various horse racing venues. Chester. We went every year to Chester on the night racing and things like that. Great. And sports facilities probably better in the UK. If you want to participate in sports and the grassroots level of sports, probably better in the UK. So there's a tick for the UK. Right, we've got a tick for the UK. So what else? I don't know. Just touched on about everything you go through the day there. So so we've got one tick for the UK. That's taking part in sports and actually spectator sports as well, and sports big in England, and there's fishing as well. You have fishing here as well. By the way, it's probably better here, the fishing. But but I don't want to go. Let's not go too deep into that because we might have to take a tick away from the UK when we've just worked so hard to get one. So the other things are, I mean, that's that. We've gone through the day there, and That's my opinion anyway. Of just an average day. You go through the day and say, right, what's better here, what's better there. So I hope that's um, helpful or interesting. Cheers.